Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. Of course, I'm your host, Stacey Brown.
Peace and love, everybody. I'm your co-host, Neil Anderson, and we have lots of headlines to get through, from the Capitol Hill to HBCU being on lockdown, and we'll tell you who's on Donald Trump's hit list now.
Oh, gosh. It's probably not Diddy. Or is it? Diddy?
No.
But go ahead. Go ahead. What?
No, I was just going to say it's not Diddy. It is actually a diversion from Epstein, but
Yeah, that's all. That's what it comes down to. Even him mentioning yesterday that Diddy's folks called him for a pardon. All of that is a diversion.
Yeah, that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. And all of the media picked up on that soundbite. But the question that Caitlin from CNN was pressing was he going to pardon Maxwell? Of course, because the Supreme Court denied her request for, I guess, another trial. So she's in prison now pretty much for the rest of her life. And she kept pressing him. And instead of addressing the question, he acted like he didn't know what was going on. And the first thing that popped in his mind was Diddy. And of course, everybody was in the headline. And it's just I was like, he did it again.
He did it again. Before we get to our producer's cut, I wanted to mention, too, the Daily Beast. I love what they've been doing. I recently noticed a couple of weeks ago what they've been doing. Any story about the president, any headline about the president, they include his age. I think it's very, very, it's a really great tactic because, he made so much, and everybody made so much about Joe Biden last year, same age. And the Daily Beast is going in on his forgetfulness, his rambling, and everything. There's one of their headlines right there. Trump, 79, rambles about heaven.
Yeah, I mean, some people have to stop following his lead. I mean, people just immediately take his lead, and it goes for Black media too. I watch so many blogs, double down on Diddy, and that wasn't the question that Caitlin was definitely pressing him for. Even when he mentioned Diddy, she went back to the original question. Like, I'm asking you a question, are you going to pardon her? Yep. Oh, I don't know. What time is it? What color is the sky today? I mean, everything but addressing the question at hand.
So obnoxious. And real quick, just wanted to answer I think a very important question that Orange G posed. I've been looking into this. He's asking, is Nike really donating or giving or selling face masks to ICE? I've been looking into that, and what has happened, Nike has actually asked politely, I guess, that ICE does not wear its gear. They are not giving or selling directly to ICE, and they're asking them not to use their gear. So that is their choice. They're purchasing this on their own, not with the express permission of Nike. So there you have it. What does our producer have for us this morning?
Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, they wouldn't recognize me, and they wouldn't acknowledge that I was even in the room, notwithstanding the fact that Republicans have sworn in 2 of their members during pro forma sessions. So, we just said the next time we're in session, swear in Representative-elect Grijalva, and they refuse to recognize me because this is a continuation of the Epstein cover-up. They are scared shitless of what's in those files, and they're doing everything they can to block us from having a vote, and it's disgusting.
So,
just coming off the House floor, I try to get recognized to make a motion to have the Speaker of the House swear in Congresswoman-elect Adelita Grijalva, who was elected almost 2 weeks ago, at the next time we meet. She's not been sworn in. The Republicans refused to swear her in. And the reason why, because it's a continuation of the Epstein cover-up. They're so afraid of what's in those files. Trump is so afraid of what's in those files. They're doing everything they can to try to derail our discharge petition that would force a vote on releasing the Epstein file.
Mm. We know that they, like you said, him mentioning Sean Combs was a distraction from that. He does everything to distract from the Epstein files after running on the fact that that was one of the first things he was going to do, release the Epstein files.
Right. Yeah, he's such a liar, and we just have to start calling him for what he is. He is a liar, a manipulator, a deflector, a racist, and he's everything that we feared. I mean, that's just what he is. And it is ridiculous that they will not swear the newest Congress member in just to protect Donald Trump, just to protect. Because that's all this is about, is protecting Trump. It's not about protecting Bill Clinton. It's not about protecting anybody else that is on that list. This is all about Donald Trump's dirty little secrets and the alleged connection to Melania Trump. Let's not forget about that. She was in all the pictures too. And allegedly, that's how she met him.
Yeah. So there you have it. And you're right. It's a shame that these MAGA Republicans live on their knees the way they do. They do not in any way do anything for their constituents. They do everything for their president. They do nothing for their constituents. And even Marjorie Taylor Greene is yelling and screaming now, of all people, saying that, we need to leave healthcare alone and reopen the government. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the voice of reason? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Wow.
I mean, hey, we need it, girl.
Yeah,
girl. You're not invited to the cookout, but
no, never will be.
But we might let you come to church.
Y'all let her in your church for real?
Everybody need prayer.
Oh my gosh.
What did Suge say to her daddy? See, daddy, sinners have souls too. Come on back to church.
Dr. Marilyn says, is the network still fact checking his lies? The networks are in his pocket. In fact, look what happened just now with Paramount and CBS. They have turned it over to MAGA folks totally now.
Fact checking is gone, and we know that Meta got rid of it. When he first got back in office, they said we're not fact checking anymore.
Yeah, that's
Only thing that they do is they shadow ban you when you say something about him. Yeah,
they do. Well, that's where it's at. So the only, again, it's the black press and independents, some independent media that you can really look to for facts. Because even some of this so-called independent media they have at the White House, folks.
Oh no, those are all, and the reality is some of those people might not even be affiliated with forces.
They're not.
You know what I'm saying? Just like the people in ICE. They're not real ICE detectives. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. You can tell by how they apprehend people or try to detain people that they have no training and no skills. And it looks like John Boy from the Klan in Alabama. Okay? They are not
John Boy
trained. I watch one person slide and slither out of their hands and twirl around and run away.
Slide and slither.
Yeah, slide and slither. They was trying to hold him, and then the people were like, "Leave him alone. What's your badge number?" And they was trying to hold him, and he just did something like this and ran away. And they got in their unmarked vehicle and drove off.
Mm-hmm. They're doing some diabolical stuff too. These people who call themselves ICE. They're attacking. They are allegedly making phone calls in Chicago. They're jamming up the 911 system to occupy Chicago police while they do their dirt.
Right. And I mean, they have on white t-shirts and jeans and masks.
It's an all-out.
It's no ice vest, no nothing. Just a white t-shirt, a mask, and jeans.
It's an all-out war on America and American citizens, and the war against American citizens is headed by none other than the United States president. Isn't that something? And he has now said that if the courts continue to go against him, and if the mayors and governors continue to go against him, he's going to declare martial law, and he's going to send the military all over the United States into these cities.
That's the intent from day one. The intent from
day
one.
That was his right.
He wants martial law, and this has nothing to do with we know that ICE is about making his privatized prisons friends rich, Geo and CoreCivic. But the second layer is he wants to take over the elections, and the only way that he could do it is martial law. So I don't know, everybody in the chat, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your cousins that that's where we're headed. That is the reality of what is happening right before our eyes as we watch it play out.
And the thing about it is, this was predictable. It's been predicted. It was predicted before he even took office that this is what was going to happen, that he was going to ultimately declare martial law. The only surprise is that he's doing it immediately. He's doing it so soon. I always thought it would be he'd at least wait to the midterms. But as RNG said, for those, and we talked about in this program, I know Niel, and you're producing the Shade Room. You guys have talked about it beforehand. Project 2025. It's all part of Project 2025.
Well, see, they're past Project 2025. They're on Project Esther now.
Esther.
And we're not even talking about that. You know what I'm saying? And we pretty much really are not talking about Project 2025 no more, except, he's implementing, he's checking the box, but we're really not talking about its impact. We're not talking about what their second phase is. I mean, they are like a machine that's oiled. And what Donald Trump did is when he got in there, he knew he had Congress. He knew he had the Supreme Court. So it's like, what do I need to wait for? I don't have to wait for the midterms. I need to move now before they get to the midterms and are able to get some type of power back.
Yeah, he has said, I can do whatever I want. And, Dr. Marilyn, Vice President Harris did call out every single one of these moves that he's making. She said it last year. And folks said, whatever. So here we are.
Well, one of the things that she could have called out to help her cause was what's happening over in Israel and to the Palestinian people. And that was a big checkbox for the American people. And I'm talking about Gen Zers and millennials and a lot of other people. And so, she missed the mark on that. Democrats did. She talked about it, but she didn't talk about, what they're saying about, Democrats is that they always make him the villain instead of talking about what you're going to do for me. And so, in a sense, we have to really stop talking about him and start talking about the impact of what he's doing to people. And it's just not resonating. It's just not happening.
Yeah, and some argue, and this argument really makes me laugh a little bit when they argue that I'm talking about certain Black folks. She didn't give us reparations, or she was somehow blocking
conversation.
Which really is not really the case. But if that's how you view it, that's how you view it. But to me, okay, so I can't get reparations for her, so let me go back to slavery with him.
Well, I mean, but it's the point of Donald Trump knowing what a dog whistle is and her having a deaf ear, because that is another conversation that she could have addressed and talked about, because people just didn't feel heard. They say, like, even right now with Gavin Newsom, there's 16 reparations bills sitting on his desk that he has not signed. He has until like maybe next week or week after next to sign them. I mean, the things that drive your base, if Black people are your base, if Black women are your base, then why, my dog is barking, I'm sorry. Then why aren't you speaking to those issues? Reparations is a big thing for Black folks. At least acknowledge it. at least acknowledge Sheila Jackson's lead bill, at least acknowledge what the state of California is doing, at least acknowledge what all these people are doing across the country.
And again, I'm certainly not here to defend the vice president, the former vice president, but I remember explicitly she did vote in favor of Sheila Jackson Lee's bill. Again, for a Black person to stand up and say, well, can't get reparations for her, I might as well go to the slave master and toil under him and call it good. It's just amazingly stupid. I don't care who you are. It's amazingly stupid. And it's self-defeating. And anybody, even Trump's base, even MAGA folks, for a Black person to say he's doing good, even Trump's base are saying, this is not what we expected. This is horrible. It just shows you how delusional and how bad you want to prove a point that, oh, we kept the Black woman from power. That's really what you are saying. That's how bad you wanted to keep a Black woman from power. That's it. It's the bottom line.
Yeah. 100%. But I think that there is a problem and people feel like they're not being heard. And so that's something that the Democratic Party has to figure out. And they better figure it out fast.
Folks, a teacher in Long Beach, California is under investigation after allegedly sending a racist image in a group chat. John Solomon is a teacher at MacArthur Elementary. He was placed on leave after reportedly sharing an AI-generated photo of a Black child wearing a toy ankle monitor with the caption, quote, "My first ankle monitor." Reports say that this teacher added that, quote, "We need this for our runners," referring to special education students who sometimes wander from class. Critics call the image racist and the message mocking towards students with disabilities. Now he's denying, he said his account was hacked, Niall. He's denying that he sent it. He said his account was hacked, but it's again the height of racism right here. Yeah, Mike went out. You're on mute. That's what it is.
It's a couple of things that's happening to me. I took a little deeper dive into this story, and he said it in a group chat, right, amongst teachers. It definitely was 100% wrong, but he was talking to his colleagues, and basically, they call the special needs kids runners, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was 100% wrong. But it also was like, who leaked that info? Who did that? Who leaked that?
Well,
that was 100% wrong. But just think about the day-to-day interactions and how many text messages you think you get from your colleagues. How many things are put in the chat that you would never share because you know, like, ooh, if that got out. So it was one of those type of scenarios. It is totally unacceptable. But I'm just saying, like, think about what you have in your group chat with your colleagues.
I'm not allowing if my colleague sends me something like that, I don't find that funny. And I would let that colleague know immediately. I do not find that funny with this little Black kid with an ankle monitor talking about my first ankle monitor, as if that is the norm for Black people. That is the norm. That's what he has to look forward to. You're his teacher. Right, you're that, figuratively anyway. That's a
right
AI image, but you teach that age group,
right?
And I do not find that. I don't think he should be teaching.
It's not.
That might be harsh, but I don't think he should be teaching.
Maybe he should have did a little white boy, but from the context of how, how they define the students, they said he was the special needs students in general they call runners. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong.
Right.
I mean, context matters. They call the slower kids runners because you was all in elementary school. Back in the day, the term was the R word, and we don't use that anymore, but we used to say it back then. And so he was wrong. He definitely should be suspended. I definitely don't think he should lose his job, but I definitely think that he should be taught a lesson.
Yeah, I just wouldn't trust a guy like that around black kids. But nonetheless, yeah, I get your point. Seattle has spent millions of taxpayer dollars to lease hotel rooms for people living on the streets, but then they left those rooms empty. According to a new investigation, you got to read ProPublica. That's the one outside of Black-owned media that I really encourage folks to stay up on. ProPublica. Their investigation found that the city paid $2.7 million for the Civic Hotel, even as thousands of residents slept outside. Officials called it a, quote, pause while they reviewed the budget. But internal records show politics and personal disputes played a big role, I should say, with each vacant room costing $4,200 a month, money that could have sheltered a lot of people. So they, on the surface, this was a great idea. They got this hotel for the unhoused, but they have not used it, and they're spending taxpayer money not using this at all.
I think you find that across the country. There are certain places here in LA that a lot of people talk about. They built this building. Why isn't anybody living in it? You know, why would you use taxpayers' money to pay for this building? It's been sitting there for at least a good 6 months to a year, and nobody's living in it. So I think that is an issue that is not just happening there, but across the country, as to where the idea is not fully implemented. You know, it's a half-baked idea.
Yeah, it's a shame though, but it also shows you, Neil, that folks, there is enough resources in this country that folks, if they don't want to, they don't have to be unhoused.
Yeah, and you know, the reality too is that we have to talk about is a lot of the unhoused people won't even take certain resources that are available to them because they feel like they don't want to be checked. They don't want any balances. They feel like if they give me this, then I'm going to have to adhere to this, and I don't want to do it. So that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of, it's not just like, oh, here's a place to live. And they're like, oh, thank you. Sometimes they don't even want it. A lot of times they don't want it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of issues going on with that. But there's a couple of answers in the chat. Blackground TV says there is no proper context to excuse the statement talking about the student with the
teacher. Yeah.
And Patricia Jackson says nursing homes have runners too. Just stupid. So see, that is a term that you know, internally teachers and, you know, nursing homes use. He just went too far. So like I say, he does need to be have repercussions for his behavior.
Well, Stephanie Humphrey says, as a special needs educator, there are students who run while teachers discuss our students amongst ourselves, runners included. This image should have never been posted in any form.
100%. So he definitely should have repercussions for his actions. Should he lose his job is the question. I say no. I don't.
Shonda H says he should be fired. So, you're gonna have both sides, right? You're gonna have discipline, yes, firing those for some. For me, I say fire him too, Shonda. I'm with you. Get rid of him while you can. So you need to set an example. You know, people talk about zero tolerance. There should be a zero tolerance for that. But you know, like you said, you talk about the context of that, and that they were in a private group, and his expectation was of that privacy. But listen,
it was definitely wrong.
How would you feel, folks, if in a private meeting these teachers got together and one of them came in a full Klan outfit? Should he remain the teacher at a black school?
Well, that's a reach, but okay.
You know, I like to stretch out my arms and reach. So, folks across the country, from Seattle and back to the harbor area in Baltimore, dozens of adults. This is a great story. Some in their 20s, others in their 80s, and overwhelmingly people of color graduated from the Goodwill Excel Center a tuition-free high school for adults. Nearly 80,000 city residents still lack a diploma, but these graduates proved it's never too late with free childcare, life coaches, and teachers who never gave up on them. 53 students earned diplomas and career certifications. You can read about this in the Afro, folks, the Baltimore Afro. This is a really inspiring story about these adults going through this ceremony. It's the Goodwill's Workforce Development Training Program, which includes they getting certificates in as a nursing assistant, geriatric nursing assistant, pharmacy techs, and building trades. And so they're helping adult learners achieve academic success while preparing them for in-demand careers. This is great.
That is amazing. I love to hear stories like that. And you know, they're so far and few between with everything that's being thrown at us. And see, Stacey, this is what I always go back to. What is going to save humanity and democracy? It is the local nonprofits and organizations that continue to help their communities thrive. This is going to help their, this local community thrive is because they're giving individuals hope, second chances, opportunities to make their lives better. And that's what really makes this nation work, is that people feel like they have opportunity and a chance, their chance at the American pie or dream. Doesn't mean you have to be a hip hop artist. Doesn't mean you have to be on television or have a podcast. It just means that you are able to make a day's work for a day's pay. Yeah. And that's what this represents.
And this is, again, folks, let's not lose sight, under the guidance, that city's under the guidance of Mayor Brandon Scott. And he talked about stuff like this, what he's doing, what that city is doing, not just him, but what people in that city are doing. And this is another example.
Yeah, local politics, local organizations, this is making America great. This is when you say make America great again, this is what that looks like.
There you go. There you go. So are you getting any sleep? Because Americans may be spending more time asleep, but new research shows that quality sleep remains out of reach for millions. A new study shows that adults now average 9 hours a day. Wow, not me. That's more than 8 extra days of sleep each year compared to 20 years ago. Women sleep about 10 minutes longer than men, and adults 65 and older get the most rest at just over 9 hours a night. Nebraska residents, so if you're living in Nebraska, for instance, they top the list for the most sleep, while people in North Dakota get the least amount of sleep. But for African Americans, however, the picture's a little bit different. Several NIH and other studies show that Black folks are getting the least amount of sleep. Yeah,
I'm averaging maybe about 4 to 5 hours of sleep.
Oh Lord.
I have to get up so early, but I mean, it's fine. I get enough. If I want to take a nap, okay. I will go 9 chances out of 10 I don't. But sometimes in the morning I go back to sleep because I am on the West Coast. So I mean, so I don't, what do we do? Oh, what Stephanie Humphrey says, 9 hours, child.
Right. 9 hours. I want to meet the person, these people who are getting 9 hours sleep. What are you doing with your life the rest of
Now, on a good Friday night, Saturday morning, I could get it in. I could sleep really? All day.
So even the weekend, if sleeping in is like an extra hour, maybe.
Oh no.
Because you got that what is it, biological clock or whatever, that internal clock or whatever, that for me anyway, it just goes off Saturday and Sunday just like it does Monday, Tuesday through Friday.
Oh, I love a good lazy Saturday. Stay in the bed all day and just binge watch. Oh, and nap and wake up. I love a good day where you don't have to do anything at all but sleep and watch TV. I love it. But those days are few and far between for me.
Dr. Marilyn said, find these people a job.
Wow.
I don't, I don't get it. 9 hours. It's too much to do. What Stevie Wonder said in High Ground, he says you gotta stop sleeping.
You know, but I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, I don't even want to go outside because
I
there
know.
is pure chaos out there. I don't
Yeah.
even want to be bothered with it. Just don't want to have anything to do with it because that the Trump monsters are outside and they are lurking.
The Trump monster. It's like a movie. It's like a horror film.
The Trump monsters are out there, and it's just, and people are desperate. Like we were just talking about what's happening in Baltimore. You know, we need more programs like that because people are desperate. And mental health and mental issues are, you know, they're at an all-time high. And I'm speaking of that too when you go outside. You know, walking through the mall, I never thought like, you know, you hear a pop or you hear a book drop on the ground and you're like, where's the nearest exit? I mean, anxiety is high outside. You can't, if somebody cuts you off in the car, you can't speak back because you don't know if they pull a gun on you. So going outside is not like it used to be.
Let me tell you something. So when I grew up, you know, we were always taught you hear pop, you go, the first thing is to go down, get out of the way. But then again, you know, black folks, all you have to do is see one person running. Everybody else gonna run, and we'll ask later, a lot later. Well, why were we running? We don't know why we.
That is typical for black folks. I don't know. Everybody running, I'm running too. That's there like a scary movie. Black people ain't gonna die in a scary movie because we are not gonna find out.
No,
we're not going to investigate the noise. We gonna call
we out. We
gonna call the popo, or we gonna call Medea.
Medea.
We could go pee.
Listen, Aquarius says I sleep. She says she sleeps 8 hours or 9 hours. A good 8 hours. And then Dr. Marilyn says one treatment she provides is CBT insomnia. And she said, I think people stay in bed for 9 hours, but not actually sleeping. And she tells me that it's called the circadian clock. Okay, not the internal or biological clock, the circadian clock. Yeah. And she says the older we get, the less we need sleep. It's about the quality of sleep, not the quantity.
Right. And these phones don't help because they come in the bed with us and all you do is scroll for a good hour. Like I was telling you, I got caught up in the Mount Everest rabbit hole. And
oh my gosh.
And I mean, an hour later, I saw everybody that died on the mountain.
Neil sending all these clips of people falling off the mountains and people coming, they can't breathe.
I mean, it's just social media. I'm gonna miss TikTok. I'm gonna miss it. I am going to miss it, but I will refuse to download that Israeli backed Larry Ellison, Rupert Murdoch app. I refuse to do it.
Okay.
Statement. But we have a few more headlines to jump into. So let's head to Capitol Hill, maybe, where Cori Bush wants to go back to Congress. And she recently launched her bid to reclaim Missouri's first congressional district. And on the Hill, Hakeem Jeffries is challenging Speaker Mike Johnson to a debate about the government shutdown. And he wants to do it on the floor of the lower chambers. And he wants it to be prime time and nationally televised.
Well, no surprise there. You see that headline, right? Mike Johnson rejects Hakeem Jeffries' shutdown debate demand. It figures. First of all, Mike Johnson could it'd be bringing a knife to a gunfight. Mike Johnson cannot stand toe to toe with anybody in a debate. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but this is a great talking point for Hakeem to continue to run with, because just because he says no doesn't mean that Hakeem Jeffries, from a communication standpoint, can double down and talk about why the Democrats and the Republicans need to have this conversation and start laying out. I mean, it's a definite. I mean, if Hakeem lets Mike Johnson shut him down, then this goes back to the point of Democrats need to figure it out, because this is a perfect way to continue to use this to say Mike Johnson, where Donald Trump would do it. Where you at? Biden, where you at? Sleepy Biden. Meet me on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Joe.
Like, let's get it, Hakeem. Let's double down. He said no. Now you need to make fun of him for saying no.
You know, they're saying more and more Republicans are starting to say, hey, maybe we just leave healthcare alone. Like we mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene this time or whatever. I will say this. If Schumer and Jeffries prevail on this, I got to cut them a little slack for a change. If they are able to prevail on this, that'd be pretty shocking. So we'll see. But you're right. Him calling him out like that, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like finally showing some life, some signs of life from Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, he needs to double down and really, push the conversation about him having this debate, because I think it is a fair debate. I think the American people should know from the people who are either stopping it or wanting to take our health care away. We need to hear from them, because Mike Johnson has been on TV lying.
Oh, totally.
Nobody has been checking him. He's been lying. And so let's get him and Hakeem in a room and let's talk about this bill that both of you guys are in charge of and the impact that it's going to have on the American people. Let's do it.
RNG says Mike Johnson better worry about his Grindr account being exposed.
And more Democrats should be talking about that too.
Yeah.
They should be talking about that and the Epstein files. But if I was Hakeem's communication person, I would plan for it. I would make it happen and let Mike Johnson not show up.
Why not?
Set the time, have the news cameras there, and go live. And if Mike Johnson doesn't show up, guess what? Me and my party, we're going to tell the American people for 2 hours how this is impacting you.
Why not? That's it. I agree totally with that. Stephanie Humphrey says Stacey giving somebody some grace potentially, and that's the operative word, Stephanie. Potentially. But you're right. I think that's what folks need to start doing, making taking a stand, being bold. We got the performative 25-hour thing by Cory Booker earlier this year. This would be, to me, much more impactful than what Cory Booker had planned. I mean, obviously he wrote a book. That was his thing. But this, like you just laid out, call it and have the media come in. Why not?
Make it happen. So what he says, he rejects it. Debate on shutdown on the floor Tuesday night, 7 p.m.
Be there.
And if Mike Johnson doesn't show up, he's more than welcome. If I was Hakeem, I would say, hey, Mike Johnson didn't have to show up. He could have sent Marjorie Taylor Greene. He could have sent such and such. But since not, guess what, American people? We're going to tell you why the bill is bad and why we can't vote for it, because it's because of you. And Hakeem, then you start laying it out.
Greer says Hakeem's been looking for a good stunt anyway, so why not? Exactly. Whatever happened to that other who became Marjorie Taylor Greene's almost her enemy, the one that was at Beetlejuice playing with her husband's or boyfriend, her Democratic boyfriend's private parts? What happened to that representative?
I always get her and Laura Loomer mixed up. To me,
Boebert.
Bloomer. They say all black people look alike. Well, them two look alike. I always get them mixed up.
Boebert, Lauren Boebert. But they should send her. They should send her. They should say Beetlejuice 3 times and send her.
So if somebody has a lead on Hakeem, tell him to move forward with the live primetime debate. And if he doesn't show up, it's his loss.
There you go.
All right, let's head down to HBCU to a trending story that continues to break America's heart. South Carolina State University's campus had remained on lockdown Sunday afternoon and Monday, and it's still unclear if it's still on lockdown today. Classes were canceled following two separate shootings during the university's homecoming celebration. Now, since Saturday night's shooting, South Carolina has implemented additional safety measures. One person was killed and two were injured in the two unrelated shootings, according to state officials. Now, the historically Black university is located in Orangeburg, South Carolina, about 40 miles south of the state capital of Columbia. And this story right here, another story that was all over TikTok, and you actually saw video footage from the students that were filming as the shootings were happening. You heard the gunshots, saw them diving under cars, in so many different perspectives. And this was just so sad, especially at homecoming, because you have alumni there, students there. I mean, it's just such a good time. And to have this happen and have all of your homecoming festivities canceled, a young girl lost her life. So this is very tragic.
Yeah, it is. And we keep seeing stuff like this on a regular basis now. And it's a shame that it doesn't get a whole lot of attention because it keeps happening on a regular basis. And it's become the norm.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Right. And it all goes back to, I saw a lot of people talking about, gun prevention, gun intervention, gun reform. And I mean, this is just another example of why it's needed.
Yeah, it's been needed forever.
And moving on to Louisiana, another story that is trending, justice for Kyron Lacy, of course, is trending as the attorney released new footage showing that Kyron was at least 72 yards away from the collision at the time of impact, that he was later accused by police of being responsible for last December. Now, police charged Lacy with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, operations of a vehicle. Now, Lacy died by suicide in April of this year, and it was one day before he was supposed to appear in front of a grand jury. Of course, he was 24 years old, and his teammates are coming out saying things like, I wish they would give this headline just as much energy as they gave the one when they were accusing you of homicide. And so this young man lost his life on a lie by the police department.
Isn't that something? I saw Ben Crump tweet about this as well. This is absolutely pathetic.
Right. I mean, he took his life because he couldn't handle all of the lies, the scrutinies, and they had just basically accused him of this, and that was the headline. And
he said, like RNG said, that cop's own body camera showed how the cop lied.
Right. And when you see the video footage that they released last week, he passed the accident.
Exactly.
He passed it. And where was this footage when they were accusing him? And so, I mean, this is just another example of how Black people feel in this country. This happens to Black people all of the time. Just tragically, he couldn't hold out a little longer. And just think about how his parents feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because he couldn't handle the scrutiny, the lies, and the pressure. And also, looking like he was facing going to prison for something he didn't do.
Yeah. Expat says that if you want reform, send cops that lie, send them to prison, not just paid vacation. Right. We've been talking about qualified immunity forever, and obviously that's not going to happen anytime soon. Removing that, because once you do that, it's game set match right there.
Right. But thank God to Congress members like Ayanna Pressley. She does still have a bill about qualified immunity. Mm-hmm. She's still advocating for it, although it's not going to go anywhere. It's still important that it's on the table because you never know when the tides will turn. And moving on, I got a question for y'all. Guess who's next on Donald Trump's hit list?
Oh boy.
Well, the bully in chief is now calling for the FCC to investigate Reverend Al Sharpton and NBC negative coverage of his administration. Trump says he was a major Trump fan back in the day. And then he posted this picture
Oh yes.
of Al Sharpton from back in the day when he liked sweet potato pie.
A lot of sweet potato pie. A little hog bog and all that stuff. And
so it'll be interesting to see how NBC handles this, because we've known and we've seen when Donald Trump says something, people fall. Before it was two white men, Stephen Colbert and then Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon got his job back, but we don't know for how long. Jimmy Kimmel. But we don't know for how long. And so it'll be interesting to see how, this pans out.
Yeah, it's always been interesting. Folks have always questioned why, with the purges that have gone on, not just with Joy Reid and others at MSNBC, that how was Sharpton able to continue on? And, it's going to be, because Sharpton obviously is a fighter, especially when it comes to somebody attacking his bank account, which is really what this is. And so it's going to be interesting, because Sharpton's not going to just go quietly.
Right. And I don't think he's responded just yet. And NBC hasn't said anything as of yet either. But it depends on how long this stays on Donald Trump's mind. You know what I'm saying? Just like Diddy, you asked me about anything affiliated with Epstein. Look over there. So
the Geritol got to kick in.
So how long it stays on his mind, I think will determine if this is going to be a problem for Sharpton or not. Yeah,
we will see. Like I said, MSNBC, it's going to be, they broke off from NBC, by the way. And so I know that Trump has his, he has NBC also quite in his pocket, but they broke off from MSNBC. That's no longer their parent company. NBC is no longer MSNBC's parent company. So we'll see. We will see how this plays out.
Well, but they still got MSNBC still got rid of Joy Reid.
They sure did. They sure did.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens with Sharpton. All right. And last but not least, on a good note, for those of you who like Broadway, August Wilson's Joe Turner's Come and Gone returns to Broadway with Taraji P. Henson and Cedric Entertainment as the headliners. And it's under the direction of none other than Debbie Allen. And the play has just added one of our favorite housewives, Kandi Burruss, to the production team. And so, I mean, I think this is a great thing, because I know Kandi is going for EGOT status. Taraji, this puts all of them on a playing field to be nominated for a Tony and move one step closer to EGOT. And I think that's where a lot of Black celebrities who have reached certain plateaus are going for. They want to be an EGOT. Whoopi Goldberg is one, Jennifer Hudson is one, John Legend is one, and there's a few others. But I think this is a good mixture of talent and excellence. We'll see where it goes.
So is this started yet, or is it?
No, it's in production. It's in production.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been looking for another good Broadway show to take Shanae to. Want to do that sometime in the not too distant future. Of course. Speaking of Broadway, the Knicks start soon. So October 22nd is the opening night. So we got to get to New York. And listen, RNG is giving me a lot of grief about the Knicks, and so when they raise that championship, next June, I want RNG to. I'm gonna do a show with RNG on his SWAC network. We're gonna have RNG switch from SWAC to talk about NBA just one day, and him and I have to have a conversation.
All right. And PH Expat is asking, what is an EGOT? It's an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony.
There you go. So it's a great accomplishment. EGOT is a great, not many could say that they
Right.
have that. So
Yeah.
Dr. Nicole says, good for her, but I really can't see Candy winning an Oscar.
Well, no, because you can win an Oscar for music. She could write a song on a soundtrack that wins, or she could, be a part of a producing team that wins a movie. So it doesn't necessarily have to be for acting to win.
See, I don't know about these Real Housewives. Who did we have, Greer? We had one of the Real Housewives. Was it Candy on like a year or so ago? The one that was married to somebody down south because they were getting a divorce or something. Who do we have on? I don't really know a whole lot about the Real Housewives franchise. I know you're into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to be on one of the Real Housewives one day if you haven't already.
Oh no. I mean,
you wouldn't do it.
No, I like to watch it, but you have to give up too much of your personal business. Real Housewives of Potomac started on Sunday, and they were on one of the women because they said she didn't tell enough of her business, and I'm not interested in sharing my business. That's why I don't want to get into politics. I don't want nobody in my business.
We want to know your business. We're gonna have to find out. You gotta run for office so we can get all in your business.
I just want to serve the good people, the good Black people of America.
The good Black people. Are there?
No.
The good Black people. Stephanie Humphrey says, I haven't read a lot of Ancestor Wilson's works. I would need to look this one up. Okay. Yeah. I tell you what, Fences drove me crazy though. It absolutely drove me crazy. I just, it's just nothing redeeming about that at all.
Yeah, I never could I've never seen the play, but even when Denzel Washington, it was just too depressing.
It was just so depressing.
I couldn't it was just too much.
Yeah, and as much as they charge for a movie now, you don't want to go to the movies to get depressed. And that's what Fences. Oh gosh.
But I guess during that time, it spoke to an aspect of the Black experience, and it resonated with a lot of people.
We could do without that reincarnation of that particular Black experience. That was awful, Neil. It was absolutely awful. And we love. It had the great Denzel and the great Viola in there, and it was like, oh my gosh,
she had that snot coming from her nose.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, it was just terrible.
That snot was iconic. That scene went viral. Like, girl, you acting your ass off.
Listen, pull it back just a bit, because that was.
But you know what? They were speaking to the rawness of a black experience.
It was extremely raw.
Yeah.
Greer says she saw both the play and the movie, and she loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the acting, you cannot go wrong, of course, with Denzel and Viola, and then the play, I think it was what's his name, and James Earl Jones in the play, and you can't go wrong there either. And I get the premise and all, but it was just I do not want to go to the movies and get depressed.
But you know what? I love me a good slave movie, so I love me a good slave movie. I love it. And
what makes a good slave movie?
Huh?
What makes a good slave movie?
The actual experience to remind you of what we went through. You know what I'm saying?
No, you don't think we were reminded enough?
No, this new generation, they have no clue.
Oh, okay.
They have no clue. They have no clue. Not a clue. They're the ones that are saying we don't need another slave movie, while Donald Trump is trying to put us back on the plantation. And if you knew where they were trying to take us, you'd be out here protesting, okay? Because they trying to take us back. You don't even have to go back as far as slavery. You go to civil rights. I love a good civil rights movie.
Yeah,
I do. I just wish that now we're learning more like Baynard Rustin and different movies I would love to see a movie about Dorothy Heights.
Yeah, I'm laughing at what the comments. Dr. Nicole says she skipped it just for that reason. Did not care to see Viola Davis not crying again. Oh my goodness. And Stephanie Humphrey says, Sister Nielle, that was unexpected.
What? Did I like slave movies? I love a good slave movie. I love a good slave book. There's an author called J. California Cooper. I've read all of her books. And boy, she talks about, post-slavery, but her stories are so rich and deep about the Black experience during that time. And it's terrific, but it's triumphant. And I just love those types of stories. Like, I love The Underground. The Underground was about the rebel slaves. And they was Moses was in it. It was good.
I did like Bass Reeves.
I did. I love Bass Reeves.
But that was empowerment more than it was anything.
The Underground was about empowerment too, because
the Underground too. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I love that. I love those movies.
Stephanie Humphrey says The Harder They Fall. Okay. Yes.
That was good. I love that cowboy movie. That was a good one. Yeah, and see, those are stories that aren't told as much. Like, I would love to see a movie about the Buffalo Soldiers.
Okay.
That would be good.
Well, call up Spike or Tyler or somebody.
No,
Ryan,
not Tyler. Not Tyler.
Not Tyler.
I want Tyler doing a Buffalo Soldier. No. He did a great job.
Might pop up.
He did a great job with the 688. That was really good with Taraji P. Henson. I thought that was well done, but I don't want Tyler to do it.
No. Okay. Folks, let's do some Black history.
One more.
Oh, we got something else.
Nat Turner. That was a good one too.
Do you know that Ike Turner Jr. just died, by the way? Tina and Ike's son.
Yeah, but it wasn't really her son. It was her adopted son.
Oh, I thought that was their son together. No?
But yes, okay. It did pass.
Oh, okay. You said Nat Turner, so I thought of Ike for some reason.
That was good too. It was called The Rebirth of a Nation. That was good.
Oh,
and
okay.
they suppressed that movie.
They did. Yes. So. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, folks, some Black history moments on this date. In 1963, Freedom Day happened in Selma, Alabama. It took place where hundreds of Black residents attempted to register to vote. State and local officials used violence and intimidation to suppress that effort. On Freedom Day, Dallas County Sheriff Jim Clark and his armed deputies, many he had deputized from racist groups like the Ku Klux Klan, were closely watching the large gathering crowd. And as the line grew, so did Sheriff Clark's irritation. Those attempting to bring food and water to those in line were beaten and arrested, even though Justice Department lawyers were watching from the federal building directly across the street. Doesn't that remind you of what they're doing or trying to do today?
It sounds so familiar. Lest we forget, okay? That's why Black History Facts are so important, to remind us we're not so far removed from where we come from.
Yeah.
And on a beautiful note, talking about literature and movies, in 1993, on October 7th, Toni Morrison became the first Black woman to be awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. Now, the Nobel Committee praised Morrison on how she dived into language itself, and a language she wants to liberate from the fetters of race. We were just talking about all of that. And of course, her body of work captures the Black experience as well. And people love Toni Morrison. Do you have a favorite book?
I don't.
I don't either. I'm with you. I don't either. But I did love, which was very, mysterious to me, Beloved. The one that Oprah Winfrey, I think it was Oprah Winfrey and Danny Glover did. I still am trying to figure out that story. Oh,
yeah. It was a lot. That got a lot of play, a lot of attention, the Beloved. So I didn't read it. So anyway, I don't do Oprah's book club.
I mean, I don't either. But if you're looking for a good book to read, this book right here.
Oh, what you got?
Harlem Rhapsody. I've been reading this book since the beginning of the year, but it is okay. It's basically about, she is allegedly W.E.B. Du Bois's lover.
Oh.
And basically it talks about how he got her at a young age from college. She came and worked at the Crisis with him. And when the Crisis first started, and she helped write the Brown Paper Bag books, which was the book for young poets like Langston Hughes. And it talks about how she wanted to take over the Crisis. But of course, W.E.B. Du Bois, never saw her in that way, but she was the one that really ran the paper. So it's a really good book, Harlem Rhapsody. Check it out.
Oh. Greer says that Toni Morrison is her favorite. Paradise is her favorite Toni Morrison book. So there you go. Yeah. And RNG says, now in 2025, we have a 34-time convicted felon who's begging for a Nobel Peace Prize for grabbing women by the private parts.
Right.
Octavia Butler is Greer's other favorite, by the way. Our Black-owned newspaper of the day, we are back, is the Orlando Advocate. It was founded in 1993, and the Advocate's mission remains to expose discriminatory and unfair treatment in both private and public sector markets and provide information designed to foster awareness, build community, and empower all marginalized groups, Blacks and other ethnic minorities, immigrants, women, young people, the elderly, and the disabled to more effectively influence law and policymakers. That is the mission of the Orlando Advocate. Check them out, folks.
Oh, great. I was over here looking at my book collection. Wanted to show you J. California Cooper, but I don't see her. But yes, try a J. Oh, here's one right here.
Here's one right here.
Yeah. Look, this is another good one. She writes really good books, J. California Cooper. But that's neither here nor there, y'all.
Apparently it's here.
What's most important is that we read. And one of the things that you can read 24/7 is blackpressusa.com, where we bring you the headlines that are important, impacting, and inspiring the Black experience. So head over and read blackpressusa.com. I'm sure there's something there for you.
Absolutely. And it will be something for you tomorrow as well. And let it be known. Check us out. We'll see you then.